Hey, what's good, guys? We are on the question set 47. So let's read the first question here. In the database, you created a table called teacher is created to store the information of the teachers who teach grade 9 in school. You need to add a column named teacher rich to the created table. Your team leader has told you that the column you add must be with the not null. Create the required DDL query. So in this case, we have to enter a new column to the teacher table, so we can say alter table and the teacher table name. The teacher is the table name, and we have to say add and the column name, the newly created the, the column that we are going to create. So in this case, teacher rich, and now we have to specify the type data type, so varchar, and the character length with 11 and not null. The default value would be, and we have to enter, and this query would be executed. And let's see. Okay, let's take a look at our teach table, and let's refresh the database, and let's see what we have. Okay, the teacher age column has been added to the teacher table. Now we can move on to the question 2, and here you guys can see the second one. In the teacher table that you have created, you need to enter the following data in the newly added teacher ID column. Create the required DDL query. It is mandatory to write DDL query to enter all details, all the data. So we have to write the update query. So okay, now we have to write the update query. So we have to update the this row which has the teacher ID as 1. So let's update the first row. So I'm going to say update the table name, the teacher table, and I have to set teacher regi is the column that I need to update teacher reg, and the value rta r rtea 001, and I have to mention which column, which row I need to affect. In this case, the row that has the teacher ID as 1. So I'm going to say where the teacher ID is 1, and let's execute the query, and we updated one row. Let's take a look and let's refresh. Okay, as you can see, we have to do the same for the rest of the 4 rows. So update teacher, set teacher age, so this is the second row. Let's execute this query again. Okay, it worked. So we updated our second row. Let's update the third one. fourth one, and the fifth one. So yeah, so let's take a look. Okay, we successfully updated our teacher rich column. Now we can move on to the third one. So here they told us to let's read the description question anyways. So in the database you created earlier, a table called student has been created to store the information of the students studying in grade 9 school. You need to add a column named student index to create to the created table. So this is also a alter query. So we had to say alter table and the table name. So student table is the one, and I have to say add and the table name, the column name, the we are going to add. So student index number, I guess. Let's take a look again. Students index, okay, students index now number, and we have to mention the characteristic, the behaviors. So the data type watcher 11, and did they say not now? Let's add the not now anyways. Not now. Okay, now let's go to our student table, and you guys can see that the row, the new column has been added to the student table. Now we can move on to the question 4. Here we have to write an update query. You need to enter the following data in the column name student index entered in the student table you created. Create the required DDL query. So yeah, so it's also a update query. So we can say update the table name student, and we have to say set, and after that column that we need to update, in this case student index, and the value. So let's take a look at the value rstu001. So rstu underscore 001, and we have to mention where we need to update, in this case this which row is student id, the id that has the student, the value that the student id that has the value as 1. So as value as 1, so let's say 1, and right after this semicolon we have to execute the query. Okay, now let's go to our head SQL. You guys can see a new this row has been updated. We have to do the same for the rest 5 rows. Yeah, so yeah, so I'm gonna say 2, 3, updating the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, and the sixth one. So let's take a look at our data table now. In the head SQL, you guys can see the rows has been updated. Rows have been updated. So that's the answer for question 4. We can move on to the question 5. Here you guys can see all grade 9 teachers in the school teach one or more subjects, and to store the data add the following data to the teacher has table and create the required DDL query. So we need to write insert queries. So the fifth one, we need to enter this data to the subject has teacher has subject table. So it's an insert query. So insert into teacher has uh, teacher has subject. And after that, we have to mention the column names. First one, what is subject ID, and the second one teacher ID, subject ID. Next one teacher ID, and we have to say the values. Now we have to mention the values. Let's take a look at the first one. The first one, 1 1. So let's enter the details data. Then following the semicolon, we can execute the query. We have entered one row. We can do the same for the rest of these. We can do the same for the rest. 2 2. We can do the same. 3, and let's go the 4, and the fifth one. And the sixth one. Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't have oh yeah, we had to redo the columns, because you guys can see so I can write update code anyways. 1 1 2 2 2 3. So I'm gonna say update teacher has subject set uh, set subject ID to subject ID 2 and teacher ID 2. Teacher ID 2 3, and I have to mention where ID where ID is number 3. Okay, I had to update the rest of the columns. I just deleted these 2 rows, so now we can enter data again. It's the fourth one, 3 4 3 4 3 and 4, and the fifth one. Well, let's see what's in the fifth one. 3 2, and the sixth one, 3 3, and the last one, the seventh one, 4 4. Okay, so I guess that's the answer for question 4. Now we can move on to the question set here. They have said a table named student has subject has been created to store all the subjects studied by the grade 9 students. In this school, you need to enter the data into the created table. Grade 9 students study all major subjects. Created the DDL query. Create the DDL query. So we need to enter the sub student has subject table. So every student has attending every student is attempting all subjects, so we can say insert into student has subject, and we have to mention the column names. So subject ID and the student ID are the table names, the column names. Student student I guess, okay, student ID and the values. So there are 9 students, so every there are, I guess, let's take a look how many students in the class. There are 6 students, there are 6 subjects, so there should be 36 rows we need to do. So I'm gonna go with the student. So I'm gonna say 1 religion first subject, and then student 1, and let's execute this query. And the next one, the subject 2 for the student 1, and the next one subject 3 for the student 1, and the next one subject 4, and the next one 5, and the next one 6. So we had to do the same process for each student. So I'm gonna pause the video right here, and I'll see you, and I'll continue when I completed all the queries. I entered uh, I entered details the first and second students, first and second. I had to go another, there are 4 more to go, so let's do this. I entered the third student, so I have another 3 to go. So I just had to change the ID of the student here. You guys can see, change the ID to 4. Okay, so just a slide, I guess it has to be a syntax mistake. There are 2 rows has been created. We can delete the last one. So delete from student has subject where I have to get the ID. So let's delete the last one, this one 24. We don't have to delete, I guess it is right. This is for the third student, this is for the fourth one. Yeah, oh yeah, 5 and 6 and 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, we don't have to delete any queries here, and we can we can um, we can move on to the fifth student, because we are on the fourth one. We have to move to the fifth student, so let's do that. So I will say insert into, let's copy the query, and fifth student, 3. Okay, so let's see what was the error. 5. So I couldn't enter the subject religion for the fifth one, so we can do like this. 5 and 1. Okay, yes, I have entered the religion. Okay, we have another we have another one to go. So 6, we have to change the student ID for each of these queries. Oh, okay, we entered data for the last student. So that's the answer for question 5, 6. So that's the end of the question set 47, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.